Hey, let's go. What a showing for the New York Jets, man. So many positives to take away from this football game. Look, I understand, it wasn't some 30-point, 40-point game, back and forth offense. But personally, I'm a defensive guy, and there was a lot of good defense out on the field today, both, from both sides here. And of course, credit the New York Giants. They really stepped up in the second half, especially their front seven, in my opinion. But man, what a game. Where do we even start, right? I guess let's start with some of the players that they just flashed, man. They looked really, really impressive, right? And what's cool too, before we dive into it, what's cool is like some of these players needed today, right? They needed a game like this. And it's really just from a fan's perspective, from an outsider's perspective, looking in on a situation. You got to be pumped up. You got to be happy for some of these guys, right? Let's start with Izzy Abanikanda, somebody who has faced a lot of I guess questions from a lot of people, right? I mean, putting myself in his shoes, I don't really know how I would feel, right? Breece is obviously the lead back. You were just a draft pick the year prior. The team goes out and picks Braylon Allen. They pick Isaiah Davis. They have Valladay on the roster behind you. They bring in Tariq Cohen, in the middle of the summer. Ultimately Cohen retires, but it's a tough spot for me to be in. But you know what? I got to make plays. I got to turn heads somehow. And this was the showcase game. Right, so whatever's going to happen on Tuesday with the 53 is going to happen. But as far as what happened tonight, Izzy Abanikanda showed out. He showed speed, he showed pop, he showed an ability to continue trucking after contact, which in my opinion was huge for Izzy, especially when we're talking about somebody who could potentially help out as a returner on special teams. 9 carries, 83 rushing yards in the first half alone, plus that crazy touchdown run, right? So really, really excited for Izzy. Totally happy for him. Pumped that he had a really good day when it felt like, this could potentially be the last chance for him, unfortunately. So again, we'll see if the New York Jets want to carry 4 running backs on Tuesday, but outside of Izzy, I mean, oh man, this gets me so fired up, right? Quantez Stiggers, this dude looks like a veteran player. Third preseason game, I get it. He's not going up against starters. I understand it, right? But as a Jet fan, to see a late round pick like this, somebody who didn't play college football, somebody who absolutely dominated in the CFL for the Argonauts, of course, Argonauts of Toronto, to see him go out there and just wrap up an open field like it's nothing, really put his head down and just get these guys down on the field, it's really, really encouraging, right? The physicality that he has shown is pretty impressive, right? And I think like when you're just watching him naturally, again, just as a fan, you can tell he's been coached well. You can tell that he's played professional football with how he will slice and dice to get to the ball carrier, with how he attacks in the running game, with him trying to shed a block and make a tackle. Again, really, really impressive stuff here. I am blown away with Quantez Stiggers, and I understand that he's been hyped up really since the beginning. Every Jet fan was so excited that we drafted him in the first place, but I don't think it was expected that he was going to come in and look this polished. Like, unquestionably, yeah, he's 100% going to make the team. He looks fantastic. Trey Swilling, I thought also looked really, really good today. Really impressive. Made that big play on special teams, right, to kick off the game, forcing the fumble, right? A huge huge momentum setter in the start of the game. And one kind of exercise I always like to do is, imagine if this was a regular season game. All of a sudden, the performances, the big plays, the turning points, it just, in your mind, they just matter so much more. They're so much more critical, right? And think about that. If that was a regular season game and, you have Trey Swilling make a play like that on the first play of the game, boom, right? Jets ball after we deferred or kicked or, whatever happened with the coin toss, right? We're kicking. We're going to get it in the second half, and all of a sudden we just double dipped, and now we're starting the game off with an extra possession. That's big time, right? That's a huge impact play. And by the way, it's not to say that he didn't look good on defense. I think he only had 2 tackles on the night. but Swilling looked impressive. But man, pass rushers, I mean, really, like, my hat goes off to this entire defense, man. Chaz Surratt, Aguavon, Zaire Barnes was impressive. But let's talk about the pass rushers, right? Tack McKinley, freaking 3 sacks. Dude was a monster out there. McGregor, too, coming off the edge. Dude, he looked like an animal. I mean, he was just ripping right through the offensive line to get in the backfield. And when he wasn't sacking the quarterback, he was affecting the quarterback, right? Getting all these quarterback pressures, getting him off his off rhythm here. So important. Eric Watts had an impressive day. Tanzil Smart had an impressive day. But Leonard Taylor on the inside against the run and the pass, man, top to bottom, right? Like, take the best players on the Jets defense. You know, Quinnen, Michael Carter, Gardner, Mosley, Quincy Williams, right? The top of the top, going all the way down until, you know, the players that are fighting for a practice squad spot. We are talented and deep. Like, this has got to be a top 3 defense when it's all said and done, right? When the season ends, the New York Jets, in my opinion, should have a top 3 defense. I mean, we have so much talent here. Now, unfortunately, that could work against the Jets in the fact that, you know, as far as who makes the cut, who doesn't make the cut, a lot of these guys are going to be stashed on the practice squad. But if you're a team that needs pass rushers and you don't really have a lot of good showings this offseason, they're going to be picking up the phone. You know, they're going to be getting these practice squad players. And I would assume that, you know, if some of these talented guys hit the practice squad, they're going to be scooped up and potentially put on the 53 elsewhere, right? Again, teams that really need help at rushing the passer, they need a young edge, right? And let's just, you know, throw it out. McGregor, he's on the practice squad as a UDFA. You know, a team's going to be coming and trying to scoop him up. Like, I really don't feel like there's many doubts about that. So that is the double-edged sword in a sense. You know, there is that major downside here. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do, right? You can't. There's only so much control that the Jets have. There's only so many players that we can sign. Personally, you know, if I was Goodell, I would increase that number up. You know, I would bring it up to at least 60 players, in my opinion, because, you know, you can't keep adding games, right? We have that extra playoff game. We have the extra, you know, extra regular season game. I understand that they took a preseason game away. But I mean, man, like, you can't, and there's also talk about adding more games, right? Adding another regular season game in time. Like, you can't just continue adding games to the season, but keeping that 53-man roster the same. Like, there has to be something said about depth that goes beyond practice squads, because again, you can't just, you know, be signing you can't load your practice squad up with a bunch of veterans. But I digress. Point is, the New York Jets looked fantastic tonight, and I cannot wait for the 49ers matchup. Cannot wait for it. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.